Okay, guys, I'll get started. If anyone drops in, then they'll probably get halfway through this conversation. We have a lot of people that return to our river presentations, so you may know me. Hi, I'm Kat. I'm one of the connoisseurs here at Panache Cruises, and I specialise in the river product that we sell. Today, we're welcoming Jo from AmaWaterways. Hi, Jo.
Hi, morning, everyone.
She will be talking us through their incredible Egypt tour and sailing, which I can't wait for everyone to see. It really, really is an incredible product. I've seen the presentation before, and I think you guys are really, really going to love it. Firstly, for any of you who are watching us, and for any of you who don't know us, Panache Cruises is fairly new to the market. I think we're now around about 8 or 9 months in. However, you may recognise our founder. As always, James Cole is there. He's been in the industry for many years, and he's founded some very successful cruise brands. And everyone who works with him now has been lucky enough to work with him in the past. For myself, I've worked with James for nearly 5 years as a river cruise expert specifically, and I've been on a number of different ships, including a lot of AmaWaterways ships as well. So again, I'm very much looking forward to you guys having a look at this product. For us here at Panache Cruises, we call ourselves connoisseurs because we leave no detail untouched, and we are here just to make every part of your dream holiday become a reality. Nothing is too much to ask, and we go by the motto of nothing is too much trouble. You're never going to have to wait in a call queue for us to get hold of one of us, and if your own personal connoisseur isn't available, there'll be another member of our expert team there to help you out. We have book with confidence messages for all of our customers. This means that you can look at booking with low deposits, flexible booking conditions, and also what I'll do is I will get Jo to go through their specific book with confidence messages for you, just so you have the safety and the knowledge that we will be looking after you from beginning to end as we go through this time in our lives where some things are a little bit unsure. Finally, as we do go through the presentation, if you do have any questions, if you just move your mouse over the bottom of the screen, there's an opportunity to press chat. You can ask questions, and if I can answer them within the chat, I will do so. If not, we will ask Jo at the end. But other than that, I will not hold back anymore, and I will hand over to you, Jo, and let you produce. Let's have a look at your product. Can't wait for it. Thank you.
Lovely, Kat. Thanks so much. Good morning. No, afternoon, everyone now. Welcome to our presentation. It's great to be working with Panache Cruises and being able to present our product to you. So we're AmaWaterways. Most well known, I guess, for our river cruising in Europe, but you can probably tell by my background today that we are going to be talking to you about Egypt. But just very quickly, just to give you a very quick overview of who we are, because you might potentially not have heard of us. We're a real sort of hidden gem of the river cruise market, but we're a 5-star family owned and operated river cruise operator. Our owners there in the middle, Rudy and Christine, are very, very well known in the river cruise world. Rudy is known as the godfather of river cruising, and so we've been going for 18 years now, since 2002, and although our company has grown to 25 ships, we still remain very, very personalised. Our family operation really kind of spreads throughout the ships, and almost that feel like you're stepping into a 5-star boutique small family run hotel, which is a really nice atmosphere. So as I say, 25 ships sailing across Europe, Asia, Africa, and one very special ship which we are going to talk about today, the brand new Amadalia sailing on the Nile. I'm sure that we'll be back at some point to talk to you about Europe and also our Mekong product as well, and also a little bit more about our kind of company overall. But I thought today we'd just get stuck straight into our Egypt itinerary because it's brand new for 2021, and it's set to launch in September. So the package is actually basically a 3-night hotel stay in Cairo, followed by a 7-night round trip in and out of Luxor on the Amadalia, which I've got some incredible pictures of, followed by 1 night back in Cairo at the end, and I'll explain how that works as well. Weekly departures from September this year, and of course, all being well, we are fully hoping that we will sail our brand new itinerary from September on the Nile, and we also operate between January to May and September to December 22. We actually avoid running our programme in the very, very hot months, sort of June, July, August as well. So those are the dates you can expect to find our itinerary. So we're kicking off in Cairo with 3 nights at the 5-star, that's a mouthful, the 5-star 4 Seasons Cairo First Residence. If you look this hotel up on TripAdvisor, it's actually rated the #1 hotel in Cairo. So that is the hotel that you'll be staying at. It's surrounded by Cairo's zoological gardens, and it stands on the western bank of the Nile River. It's in quite a prestigious area known as the Giza district, so it's very, very central. So 3 nights of luxury in this stunning hotel. We've actually got contracted very spacious upper floor superior rooms as well. It's on a bed and breakfast basis. So we do actually leave your, sorry, I say bed and breakfast, we do actually include lunches as well, but the lunches are not at the hotel, they're out and about, which I'll explain to you shortly. But we do leave your evenings free for you to enjoy at your leisure in Cairo and make your own dining arrangements. And if you don't want to venture out into the city, this hotel actually has, I think it's 6 or 7 restaurants to choose from as well, so you'll be spoilt for choice there. So day 1 in Cairo, you'll arrive, settle in, relax, have some free time. Cairo is Egypt's capital, of course. We'll have a welcome reception and drinks with tapas at the hotel on that first sort of afternoon. So yeah, kind of a day at leisure, relax, get some sleep, probably after a hectic day's travelling, and then wake up fresh in the morning for a sort of full day touring of Cairo. Starting with a visit to the Egyptian Museum. This is a huge museum. It's mainly known of interest for holding the whole entire King Tutankhamun's treasures. There's something like over 120,000 treasures and artifacts now at the museum, and it's just incredible. Someone told me when I was researching that these treasures are now worth over $27 million just in that museum alone. So yeah, we really kick off with, you know, the sort of heart and soul of Egypt's history, and really getting to grips with the culture and yeah, all the kings and queens that preceded. So after the museum, we actually move on to this bustling village at Khan el Kahili. It's a market. It's kind of the arts and crafts area of Cairo. It's a really nice area to kind of really see the heart of Cairo, away from the more touristic areas. There's a fabulous market, lots of coffee shops. Cairo has over 250 coffee shops. The Egyptians were way ahead of us. They had their coffee shops open about hundreds of years ago, definitely before the likes of Starbucks and Costa. So there's some really fascinating alleyways and coffee shops to explore. We actually have lunch in the bazaar area. There's a very famous restaurant that you might have heard. It's the Naguib Mufaz restaurant, and it's named after one of Egypt's most famous authors and poets. So we have a very special gourmet lunch at this restaurant in the Khan el Kahili market. And so you really get that kind of authentic experience as well whilst we're out and about. We do a couple of more visits that afternoon to the Alabaster Mosque and the Citadel of Salah ad-Din. And then again, it's back to the hotel, relax, evening at leisure, do as you wish, have a nice dinner in the hotel. And then the next day we're kicking off with another sort of fun, sort of excitement-packed day of excursions. And of course, no trip to Cairo would be complete without taking you out to see the pyramids of Giza. Now we have a tour of the pyramids of Giza area, exploring, sightseeing. This is also home to the Great Sphinx. So 2 sort of great wonders of the ancient world, I guess, that you'll already be ticking off your bucket lists. I found out interesting fact about the Great Sphinx, it's actually one big stone. It's one big sandstone, huge sandstone. The Egyptians actually carved the Sphinx out of just this one huge big stone, unlike the pyramids, which is built of individual bricks. So yeah, finding out interesting facts like that and just standing before these incredible sites is really, really one of the highlights of this pre-cruise itinerary. And actually, to top it off, later that day, so kind of late afternoon, we have an included lunch at the Mina House Hotel in Cairo. And as you can see there, it is a restaurant that overlooks the pyramids, and it's a very historic old sort of palatial hotel. It's a 5-star gourmet lunch, and that's all included. And we actually spend a couple of hours here just relaxing and enjoying the lunch before heading back to the hotel. So that's your sort of snapshot of your first few days in Cairo. We actually then the following morning take a flight down to Luxor. It's about an hour, an hour's flight down to they call Luxor the capital city of the New Kingdom of Upper Egypt. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's also known as the world's greatest open-air museum, simply because of the amount of temples that it's home to. 2 of the temples we'll actually visit are the Karnak temple and also the Great Luxor temple as well, which we don't visit them on this day in Luxor, but we do come back to them during the cruise experience. And you might have heard of the kind of avenue of the Sphinxes. So these 2 temples are joined together by something like a 1.5 to 2 mile stretch of tombs and sphinxes that line the Nile River, connecting both these temples together. And you'll see all this area on the cruise as well. So speaking of which, Luxor is of course where we start our 7-night Nile cruise. It's brand new. AmaDahlia is designed especially for us. It's our ship. We own it, so it's not a chartered vessel. She's only holding 68 passengers, so you can appreciate it's very small guest numbers. We do actually have 62 crew on board though, so it's pretty much a 1-to-1 kind of crew to guest ratio. So we're really still delivering that second to none service that we are renowned for delivering on our European river cruises. So here this will be a home for the next 7 days as we cruise the Nile Valley. The Nile is the longest river in the world. It's just over 4,000 miles long. Although someone questioned me on one of these webinars and said that the Amazon is the longest river in the world. There's not much in it, and I think it depends what Google source that you read. But either way, the Nile is either the first or second longest river in the world. So I'm just going to take you through some pictures of this stunning ship. I mean, these are the artist renderings, but the ship itself is going to be an exact copy of these images. It's absolutely stunning, light and airy, modern and authentic at the same time, beautiful floor-to-ceiling windows. And actually, like I said, there's only 68 guests on here, so the space that you've got on board is just incredible. And it looks very much like a 5-star luxury hotel, probably in the heart of Cairo. Main restaurant area, I'll explain to you what sort of dining's included. Sun deck restaurant, this just looks incredible. We've got a pool up there as well, so here you can relax in the afternoons. We've got those beautiful sailing days, of course, because that's what river cruising is about, not only the shore excursions, but of course just that sort of seeing the day-to-day life along the river banks. There is the stunning pool area, just incredible. So this is going to be your base for your Nile cruise. Those are the suites. We can configure those as either king, or we can separate them into twins. Just to mention as well, there's 10 staterooms that have a fixed window, and all the rest, so the 24 other staterooms, have a full balcony, and they're full balcony suites as well. So there's a choice depending on how what your preferences are, and of course how much you want to spend. In terms of cuisine, we get asked this quite a lot, you know, what food is being served on board. So we actually do a lot of local cuisine. The plan will be to introduce a lot of local menus and options to really kind of be in keeping with the Egyptian culture. But of course, you know, we appreciate that everyone's got different tastes, different dietary requirements as well, which we can cater for. So we will be running a more sort of Western style menu as well. So there'll always be a choice of the kind of more European type foods, as well as the more regionally inspired dishes as well. Whilst you're on the cruise, all your meals are included, breakfast, lunch and dinner, and snacks in between as well. So that's all taken care of. A lot of the time we're actually off the ship for lunch. It's not always that lunch is on the ship, so we've got a couple of really special onshore lunch options as well. Drinks wise, we're including wine, beers and soft drinks with lunch and dinner. Tea and coffee throughout, water of course complimentary, and we also have this lovely hour every evening before dinner. For an hour and a half, we have a complimentary sip and sail cocktail hour up on the sun deck or in the bar as well, where all drinks are included for you. As well, just before I move on, we've got some fantastic evening entertainment on board. Really, we get local acts to come on board. We've got belly dance shows. There's a very traditional Galabea show and a Darawish show as well. If you want more information on them, look them up, but they're great fun and really, really entertaining. So we're going to have all that going on, the relaxing evenings on board. So during the cruise itself, you know, we do, of course, we include a fully inclusive sightseeing and shore excursion programme. Obviously, I've mentioned before, the beauty of river is the scenic cruising, which of course river cruising is all about, the immersiveness of sailing through each country and seeing day-to-day life along the riverbanks. And, you know, I think with the Nile even more so, seeing, you know, where the first settlements evolved, you know, really into sort of, I suppose, one of the most fascinating civilizations that we've ever seen. Some of the feats of engineering that you see along the riverbanks and the kind of innovations are just incredible. And I think, you know, we're responsible for changing the course of history, really, from the Egyptian civilization. So there is so much to see. One thing I didn't mention is we do have Egyptologists on board. So there are 3 AmaWaterways Egyptologists, and they're your experts basically. So unlike our European cruises where you would get off the ship and meet your tour guide who would take you around on the excursion, then you get back on board, the Egyptologists are actually on the cruise. They're with you in Cairo as well. They are there all the time, and we actually split everyone 3 different groups, about 20 to 22 guests each, and you have your own allocated Egyptologist for the whole duration of the land and cruise program, and they are basically your very own tour guide. So you get used to that tour guide, you get familiar with them, you know, they even come and dine in the restaurant, you know, with you in an evening. So it's a very, very seamless experience, and you're not picking up different guides and everything at all the different shore excursions. So I just wanted to run through a few highlights that you'll encounter. I mean, there's so much, and if any of you end up doing this trip, then you will see so much on it that I haven't mentioned today. But probably starting with the Valley of the Kings region, you know, it's one of the most famous archaeological sites in the world. It's home to the tomb of King Tutankhamun. I think his mummified remains are still there on display. You'll sail through the Valley of the Queens as well, where you will come across the temple of Queen Hatshepsut, I've been told it's pronounced. And she was one of Egypt's most successful pharaohs and its first female ruler as well, which back then was quite a moment in history. We also visit the tomb of Queen Nefertari as well, where we have exclusive access here. This is actually a visit that a lot of tour operators don't include within their program because it is really expensive to do it. Can be about $200 US to actually just turn up here and get access. So we include it. We've got an exclusive tour where it's just our Amadalia guests in here, and it's a fascinating tomb. Queen Nefertari was the wife of King Ramses II, who was a huge ruler in Egypt for over 25 years. and she was really well respected across Egypt. She was a very clever lady. She wrote a lot of poetry, and when she died, King Ramses created this tomb for her, and there's actually calligraphy and poetry on the wall that he wrote to her. Yeah, and just incredible. Another kind of moment in history, really, that you can really immerse yourselves in. By the way, just on these temple tours, they're about the, you know, there's a lot of temple visits. It's obviously a very historical trip. We don't spend all day at the temples. It's short excursions. You know, of course, Egypt is a very hot, dry country. It can get quite warm. We're out at these temple sites for about an hour and a half or so, and then before we're back to the ship. So they're very manageable, but we do just kind of say, you know, as long as you can manage 90 minutes out walking, you know, without a break. There isn't necessarily benches and areas to kind of rest and relax out at these historical sites in Egypt. So your mobility needs to be fairly good, and just and there's cobbled streets and quite a lot of steps and hills and things. So yeah, just and a good pair of shoes, I guess, to keep your feet comfy, because there's a lot of outs and abouts on this excursion. So we continue sailing the city of Edfu, sort of moving away from the Valley of the Kings area now. One of Egypt's most preserved temples, the Temple of Horus, built in 230 BC. Second largest temple in in Egypt, also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And we've ticking off a lot of UNESCO World Heritage Sites on this itinerary. And again, it's spectacular with all the calligraphy that's displayed on the walls inside the temple. And of course, our Egyptologist will explain everything in a way that you can understand. And, you know, Egypt history can get quite overwhelming with all the different facts and figures, but our tours really are designed to make the most and give you the information that you are interested in hearing as well. Moving on to Aswan, so continuing sailing down the beautiful banks of the Nile. We've got some free time in Aswan, and we actually take a traditional felucca boat ride out to the Nubian villages. So the Nubian villages are colourful, really friendly. The locals there are very welcoming. These parts of the Nile banks don't get an awful lot of visitors unless it's from anyone visiting on a river cruise ship. So they're always really, really welcoming of any guests. Really warm and friendly people, and absolutely stunning markets. We have lunch out in a local restaurant in the Nubian village of, what's it called? Hessa, that's it. And there's plenty of time for shopping and buying spices and silks and everything like that. So yeah, really fascinating villages, and a nice sort of break from the cruise just to head across on one of their felucca rides as well. Moving on then, Abu Simbel, I just wanted to mention this because it is one of those kind of bucket list trips, but this is an extra with us, so we don't include it in the fare. This is the only sort of optional extra that you would have to pay for. It's around, I made a note actually of the price because it changed recently. It's around 250 euros, and it involves a flight down to the site at Abu Simbel as well. So the reason we have it as an optional extra is because not everyone always wants to do it. It's a bit more travelling. It's a very early start, but it is something that a lot of people do this cruise to do. So you do have to pre-book it because it's very limited. There's only a certain amount of guests allowed in Abu Simbel every year. And so if you want to do this, you need to make sure that you book it really at the time that you book the cruise as well. I mentioned as well about Queen Nefertari earlier. This is where King Ramses sort of made a temple dedicated to her. And yeah, it's just another incredible Egyptian site to be seen. The flight, by the way, is only about 40 minutes down to Lake Nasser. So that's the highlight. If you want to do it, just make sure you add it on. And then just kind of finishing off on the cruise, we head to into Aswan. There's a town about 40 minutes away called Komombo, another stunning temple. This is quite an unusual one. It's a double temple. Most of the temples in Egypt are for sole individuals. This is a double temple for the Egyptian crocodile god and the Egyptian falcon god, which sounds very interesting. And my Egyptian knowledge isn't as up to scratch that I can tell you much more about this temple, but you will find out a lot more when you're there. And I believe that there's actually over 100 mummified crocodiles in there, which is a little bit creepy, but the Nile did used to be swarming with crocodiles hundreds of years ago. So yeah, apparently this is a real trip highlight and one definitely to be seen, so we will take you off to there. So we finished the cruise back in Luxor. We fly back up to Cairo, where you've got one last day in Cairo, and actually it's quite relaxing at the end, but you've got the opportunity to see a little bit more of the old town, maybe a little bit more free time, do some shopping and just a few bits under your own steam. But one trip that we do include that we would love everyone to join us on is the trip to the Aberdeen Presidential Palace. So this is one of the most luxurious palaces in the world. It's actually an official residency of the current president of Egypt as well. We're treated, not only do you get a tour of the palace, but we actually have a special farewell lunch in the palace as well. That's exclusive to our AmaWaterways group. That is not something that you can just turn up to the palace and have. So that's a very, very special experience. So yeah, we do then bid farewell to Cairo for your flights home after what you can see will have been an incredible trip. I did just want to let you know as well, it doesn't have to stop there. We actually have a 4-night post-land extension as well in Israel. Now, this is for 4 nights at the end. You can only put it on the end of the trip, but we're doing 4 nights at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in Jerusalem here. So you actually fly to Tel Aviv and then we transfer to Jerusalem, which is where your hotel is going to be based. Breakfast and lunch bases at these hotels. Again, dinner is under your own steam. Beautiful, beautiful rooms. What a stunning hotel. We have some time in Jerusalem. We visit Bethlehem, we visit the Israeli Museum, we spend some time in the local Yehuda market there, and we also go to the ancient site of Masada as well, in case you were missing the history from the Egyptian Nile cruise. Finishing up with something a bit different, lunch down by the Dead Sea, and also a dip in the Dead Sea if you want to. So that's something I'd love to do actually, get the classic picture of yourself floating in the Dead Sea. So that was a real snapshot. There is so much that we do with that land extension programme, but it's a great one to add on whilst you're already over there in that part of the world. And like I say, it's all escorted. Even with, we don't just kind of book your hotel and that's it, you're on your own for 4 nights in Israel. It's very much an extension of the cruise experience with our Egyptologists and cruise managers still with you. And then just to finish off then, if you think back all the way to when we were first in Cairo, you can actually tag one or the other of these extensions onto the beginning before we even get to Cairo. So we're looking at either, unfortunately you can't do both of these, but either Dubai or Jordan. Both, I guess it just depends what your interests are and what you would like to do. But in Dubai, where it's a 3-night extension before flying to Cairo, and we're staying at the JW Marriott Marquis. So again, another fantastic 5-star hotel. You can, here in Dubai, we're off, look at the views out of that hotel room. Again, we've got the superior upper floor rooms available. You can do the included desert safari. We take you out into the desert, and we also have a lovely sort of exclusive evening in the sand dunes as well, laid on especially for our AmaWaterways guests. And with the Dubai extension, you also get to go to a full-day tour of Abu Dhabi as well, to explore that interesting city and visit the stunning Zayed Grand Mosque as well. If you don't fancy Dubai, you could do Jordan instead, and this is an interesting one. This probably has to be my favourite hotel, the St. Regis Amman. Again, of course, 5-star, looking at the pictures there, absolutely beautiful hotel, quite modern, which, you know, the sort of Amman area is actually very, very sort of old-fashioned in a way, but also have this much like Jerusalem, really kind of feels like it's getting a lot more modern and a lot more cosmopolitan as a city. But we have 4 nights here, and the main, I guess, sort of bucket list tick offs of this itinerary is heading out to the site of Jerash in Jordan, as well as another wonder of the world that you're going to tick off on this trip, Petra as well. So there is so much more that you can tag on to these, to our sort of base Cairo and cruise sections. And it just depends how much time you've got, how much you want to see, and of course what you want to do. Wow, I feel like I've been to Egypt and back now, but it's on sale for this year and next. Don't forget, we don't actually start till September. We're really confident that we are going to get away. We've got departures all the way through 2022 as well. £200 per person savings across most of our departures at the minute, with that 11-night package. So by that I mean the 3 nights in Cairo, the 7 nights on the cruise, and the 1 night back in Cairo, starting from $3,997 per person. We can of course do the flights. We will book the flights for you to and from the UK. The only reason we don't include it in the brochure fare is just simply because it kind of depends if you're adding any pre or post extensions on. You know, you might not be flying straight into Cairo, you might be doing Dubai, across to Cairo, and then over to Tel Aviv at the end. So we really do a sort of bespoke flight package for you. And I'm delighted to say we've got an exclusive extra saving as well for booking your Nile cruise through Panache, an extra £150 per couple, or £75 if you are a solo traveller. And by the way, I know we've been talking about Egypt today, but that saving is off absolutely anything. So if you're actually looking at this thinking, oh, actually, quite fancy doing something in Europe first, then of course contact Kat, and she can happily talk to you about Europe. I think that's it from me, Kat. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome you on board soon.
It was amazing.
I just want to be there now.
So much. So amazing. I've just got a question about solo travellers. Are there particular costings for solo travellers, or we just have to look at that individually, dependent on the dates?
Yeah, we absolutely welcome solo travellers, and I think river cruising in general is a great product for anyone that's travelling on their own. With it only being a small capacity ship, we do have a solo supplement, and depending on the time, it ranges from 25 to 50%. And I know that can be frustrating for solo guests, but I think actually, in the grand scheme of cruising, I know that some solo supplements can be well in advance of 75 to even 100% single supplement. So yeah, we hopefully have, something suitable, but yeah, do get in touch with us for solo quotes.
And just finally, just as one last question for yourself, obviously at the beginning I spoke about that we like to work with cruise lines that have their cruising with confidence messages. Are you able to quickly just sort of summarise how AmaWaterways are making sure that customers obviously at first safely on board, and also with money just dependent on whether cruises do get moved or cancelled?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that we have really focused on very quickly, when cancellations first started happening back in March last year. Can you believe it? We quickly adapted and realised that we needed to be really, really flexible for anyone booking new trips. And of course, as 2020 sort of carried on and it became apparent we unfortunately wouldn't be sailing, we really sort of picked up our policies to make sure that our guests wouldn't be put off cruising in 2021. So we have a couple of different options, and Kat, I can actually I'll send you this through so you can pass it on to everyone that joined. So it's ever so slightly different for Egypt, but in a nutshell, we have an ultimate cruise protection, which protects which is complimentary, and it protects the cruise element of your booking, and you can change it up to 48 hours before departure. That really applies to Europe because, of course, with the Egypt product, I guess you're not going to be last minute changing that, and we'll know much further in advance about the Egypt programme. But we also as well have an added cover of a travel waiver plus, which there is a fee for. It's £135, but this also protects your external cruise sort of products, AmaWaterways book products. But if you've got any flights, or if you're deviating flights to do something else before your trip, or if you've got even your own hotel stays booked through us, that kind of protects that element as well. Basically, we're being very, very understanding and flexible with everyone's situations and concerns, so we can really accommodate and just do our best to support over whatever the next few months is going to throw at us. But one thing's for sure, I don't know what month, but we will be back on the rivers this year.
And I fully believe that. Definitely.
Oh, one thing just to mention as well, if anyone has a question on visas for Egypt, it's actually, thankfully, a really straightforward visa situation. You do have to apply for the visa yourself. You can do it online before you go, and it's about $25 US. You can also just do it at the airport on arrival, but you might be in a whole load of queues and carnage at the airport, so it's just much easier to do it before you travel.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you. So everyone, thank you for joining. And for anyone who is watching this afterwards as well, and anyone who signed up but couldn't make it, I will be sending an email out afterwards, kind of just reiterating what we've spoken about. You'll also get a copy of the presentation as well. So if, obviously there was a lot of information in there, so feel free to re-watch it. My details at the moment are on the screen, but again, once I have emailed you will have my email address and you'll have my direct phone number as well. I'll put all the offers on there that we have and that Joe's kindly gone through with us. But other than that, again, for everyone who's joined and everyone who will be watching this, we sincerely thank you for taking your time to come and speak with us virtually. And we hope to see you again soon. And thank you very much, Joe, for your time and your amazing product. It was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it, and take care. See you soon.
Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.